Hey guys, zapOphilia here with a predictive guide to probably the first half of Warrobots 2021. Now there's a challenge going on with the hashtag MyWRTip2020 and be sure to check it out because it has a lot of solid tips from over 6 years of Warrobots. I'm putting the hashtag on this video, although my video might be a little different from the rest, like you're about to find out, and that's because I started working on this guide before I saw the challenge. So I'm going to make a more conventional guide just for the challenge later, and with that said, let's begin. Sometime in 2017, Warrobots felt their game was a little too slow-paced. The fastest bots in the game that time was the Carnage, and there was feedback from the community calling it a slugfest. So they released the Dashbots, the Heichi, the Kumiho, the Bogasari, and ever since then they've been committed to increasing the pace of Warrobots. Metabots keep getting faster and faster, from the Strider to the Hellburner, to the Mender, to the Blitz, to the Aljun, to the Ravener, to the Scorpion. And right before Warrobots Remastered was officially released, they even increased the speed boost given by pilot skills. Like pilots like Thomas Mendred went from giving a 15% speed boost to the Leech when its ability was active to a 30% speed boost, which is a lot. And not just the robots, the weapons as well. Every new weapon kills faster than the last weapon, and now we even have weapons that don't need to reload, just so there's no pause in battle. Now add all this to the Deathmark module and trigger drones. I did a very detailed video about building trigger drones, so you can check that out on my channel. Add all of that and you could even get up to a 200% speed boost on top of all that damage. And now we're going to talk about a new weapon type coming this year. But before that, to prepare you for the increasing pace of the game, I would suggest you go into your interface settings and increase your sensitivity, or better yet, max your sensitivity out and get used to it, because the increased turning speed is going to be a major boost to lock on weapons and abilities. It's going to allow you to take quick glances around the map and respond better to enemies spawning behind you or scorpions trying to ambush you. So maxing your sensitivity settings is definitely a must for 2021 if you haven't done it already. Saving. Last year we saw a lot of community managers from Warrobots, but what's important is that thanks to them we had the longest streak of consistent mini events in the game. Mini events are like the upgrade overdrive and so on. There's separate events for 25% cheaper silver upgrades, 10% cheaper platinum and titan upgrades, cheaper pilot upgrade and purchase costs, and the consistency we saw last year was that within every 2 weekends you'd see each one at least once. So my advice for you 2021 is to save your resources until the relevant event comes around within a week or two, and then you spend them. I tried that last year and I saved a lot of resources, especially in terms of Titan upgrades. New weapon type. Predicting weapon releases in Warrobots is not easy because the developers have two options. They could either release an original weapon which comes in all three hardpoints, heavy, medium, light, like they did with the cryo rockets, the electromagnetic machine guns, the railgun snipers, and of course the sonic shotguns, or they could release another version of an already existing weapon. For instance, the shock train is still pending a heavy shock train and a light version of the shock train. But since in the test server right now we have a heavy version of the Wasp Hornet and a light version of the Pulsar Magnetar, we don't need to worry about that possibility. So sometime soon this year we're going to get a brand new weapon. And the thing with weapons in Warrobots is they have a succession system. I mean, we had the kinetic shotguns, then the energy shotguns, and now the sonic shotguns. So analyzing all the weapons currently in the game, the only weapons that are overdue for successor are the flame weapons, the ember, the igniter, the blaze. And something special about these weapons is they are not classified as kinetic, energy, or explosives. They have their own unique class called special weapons, and they are the only special weapons in the game, bots and titans alike. And to make things more interesting, Warrobots confirmed a new status effect coming this year, and my bet is that these two things are going to be connected. Now, I have a pretty good idea what that status effect is, but we'll talk about that a little later. So this year we're getting a brand new special weapon, the successor to the flamethrowers, and it's coming with a brand new status effect. So you have to be ready to get those weapons. You have to be prepared with resources and time, etc., because it's going to be the meta to end all metas. Titans. Now, last but not the smallest, let's talk about Titans. Recently I built my dream Titan and it's been so much fun. There are only 5 Titans in the game right now and 5 Titan weapon types. So I guess the simplicity is so much fun to play around with. And Warrobots has promised us 2 major feature releases every year, and my bet is that this year Titan Pilot is going to be one of those releases. Here's why. If you check the bio, the background story, the origin story of Yang Li, the Aojian's legendary pilot, you see a sentence that says his goal is to become a commander that pilots Titans, and it makes a lot of sense since we already have Titan modules, and if bots need pilots, then Titans do as well. And that's not even the big news. The big news is we are going to predict the next Titan coming to Warrobots 2021. Last year, 2020, we got 2 Titans, the Nodens and the Minos, so we'll definitely get at least 1 Titan this year. Now, the thing you need to know about existing Titans is they all belong to a different faction. Space Tech made the Ming, DSC made the Auto, Evolife made the Nodens, Icarus Technologies made the Miners, except one, the Kid. The Kid does not belong to any faction. It is in fact a training Titan for new pilots, which is why we all got it for free. So that could only mean one thing. The next Titan we're going to get is going to be made by Yandi Ventures. Now, I got an idea from the last Q&A on the official Discord. The WR staff mentioned that the robot designers have their own terms they use to describe robots. He described the Typhon, the latest bot, as a glass cannon, which has a lot of firepower when its ability is active, but when its ability isn't, it breaks like glass. So I went and researched every keyword used to describe robots in the history of the game. Words like fast, brawler, heavily armored, support, assassin, saboteur, tank, etc. And crossing out the terms that fit already existing Titans, we're left with just 3 types. 4-legged, because every Titan to date has been bipedal and whatever the Nodens is. High-tech, because every Titan to now has powers based on already existing robot powers, like the Dragon's Flight on the Ming and Hawk's Reflector Shield on the Minos. And lastly, transforming. I don't mean like the Kid, I mean like the Ragnarok Squad, the Raijin, that have 2 different forms with 2 different stats in each. Now, this fits very nicely with the lore around Yandi Ventures. According to Warrobots lore, Yandi Ventures is the only orbiting colony on Mars, and they have the most efficient energy system among all colonies. But based on their fashionable, flashy lifestyle, I mean, they made the Yandi Showdown, they built the Ravana and the Scorpion, and also the Falcon. I don't believe they're going to make a 4-legged slow bot. That's more DSC style. or rather a three-legged Titan. And now I believe the only playstyle not represented by Titans till now is a stationary playstyle. That's like the Fujin, the Raijin, the Behemoths. Basically, you're weaker when moving, and your goal is to get to a strategic position and set up, camp in, probably with an extra leg. And in that mode, you have increased offensive and defensive abilities. Now, a fundamental feature of Titans is that they have a damage evasion ability, because at that size and mass, even shotguns are dangerous to them at range. So the kid has his stove and defense points, the Auto has his shield and shockwave, the main can fly, the Nodens can suppress, and of course Minos has his reflector shield. So we can only expect this new Titan to have a unique damage evasion system as well, since Yandy Ventures invented stealth and phase shift, and since stealth won't work on something so big, we can only assume it's going to have some phase shifting, or rather transcendental capabilities. Now, following the trend of last year, the Nodens was released in the same update with the Nightingale, and both Bot and Titan feature suppressive and healing abilities. In the same way, the Minus was released together with the Hawk, and both feature Reflector Shield. Now, I mentioned a new energy type, or rather a new status effect coming this year, and my bet is that they are connected. And I believe this new Titan, let's give it a code name, NOVID, because of COVID. This NOVID Titan is going to emit constant radiation, because I think it's about time a colony, a race, used the radioactive energy that caused the cataclysm, which is the reason humans had to evacuate to Mars. Because right now we have the ability to nullify all abilities in form of the Typhon, and from now on anything goes. So this NOVID Titan is going to be a strategic stationary Titan that is more vulnerable when moving, and your goal is to get to enemy beacons or enemy hotspots, set up, emit constant radiation, and deal damage while being protected by either temporary or partial phase shifting abilities. And with that, guys, I believe we're ready for another great year of Warrobots. Happy New Year, and as always, still humble.